No, I'll just push you down into the low lobster bin and see how you respond. And if you put up with it, then yeah, my cynicism is fully justified.
In your life, just be present and pay conscious attention to how you feel when you really, wholeheartedly do these processes with an open mind and heart.
Shark takes others with them. Sharks make other people successful, and sharks are made of cartilage. That's why they're different than every other fish. They're made of cartilage, which means they're flexible. They can change, and they pivot when they need to pivot.
It's easy to look back and think about all the things you could have done differently, especially since, as we get older, we get wiser. Right time provides this beautiful gift of clarity, and ultimately we realize things like maybe a lot of our hesitation was unwarranted. Maybe a lot of our decisions or indecision was fear-based. And knowing that it's easy to look over your shoulder, please do watch our other motivation videos on the screen now. Thank you.
If you take people and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, by your own definitions, right, within the value structure that you've created to the degree that you've done that, what would you be like?
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us.
If you do miss a day or one part of it, don't beat yourself up. Also, pay attention to how you feel when you don't do it and get back on track. You deserve this.
I remember years ago when the alarm used to go off in the morning, the first thing I did was roll over and hit the snooze button. In that instant where you have a choice to either hit the snooze button and go back to sleep in your nice, warm, fluffy, cozy bed, or open your eyes and get out of bed, that's a choice that takes discipline. Now, I didn't have any discipline.
Will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple.
I told myself that this might be your current circumstances, but this will not be how the story ends. All you have to do, E.T., is to survive today.
My glory, it doesn't happen in front of a crowd. It doesn't happen in a stadium. It doesn't happen on a stage. There's no medals handed out. My glory happens in the darkness of the early morning, in solitude, alone.
I always took the easy route, the road that was more comfortable. The problem is, when you make this decision, because it's the first decision that you make, literally the second you wake up, you are letting yourself off the hook. You are literally training your mind to take the easy way out throughout the whole day, which in turn leads to you taking the easy way out the whole month, all year. Discipline is not something that any of us are born with. It's a muscle that we have to train. And I don't care what anyone says, it all starts that first second. How you start your day and that decision that you make in that instant isn't as small as just getting up of bed or not. It's a decision that can shape the rest of your fucking life. This ain't some motivational, inspirational bullshit. This is the truth. When I was younger, I dreamed that one day I'd get a job that paid me 50 grand a year. That, for a boy where I come from, was a dream come true.
I truly feel sometimes I'm just falling behind. I feel at times the clock is winding down. It truly is a struggle to stay positive and motivated. Sometimes, like most people, I want to throw in a towel and just give up. Sometimes it just feels like there's just no use, there's just too much ground to cover.
Can I ask you a question? Do you need to pivot right now? Your business idea is not working. Pivot. Your marriage is not working. Change how you operate. Your career is not where it needs to be. You made a compass, baby. You're flexible. Pivot. Every morning, you start your day. Sometimes you tend to think about what you did yesterday. You think about what you could have done, what you should have done, but it didn't turn out the way you wanted it. You start getting into an abyss of self-hate.
Now that sounds pretty harsh for some people.
Examine that for what it is. Next step, ask yourself, what's blocking you? What's preventing you from acting? Why don't you have the courage to handle that? Why won't you face that? What are you running away from? What kind of avoidance behavior are you engaged in? Next is, what is the worst thing that can happen when you take action? So I looked at that and I said, what's the worst thing can happen when I tell him this? He can say, I don't like you. And he did. Now what happened? I experienced that. I looked at that. I saw that. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I didn't die. My feelings were hurt a little bit. I lost some sleep about it. And sometimes I think about it when I drive past his house, but I'm still here. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay.
Definitely not your fault what color of skin you live in. But I can promise you, I can assure you there's going to be adversity. There's going to be obstacles. There are going to be disasters that's going to come your way. They're going to be made to tear you down and destroy you. If you sit there and start pointing fingers and play this blame game, you will fail, so stop blaming everybody else except for yourself. You better believe that failure is coming if you keep on with that weak mindset. You were not born to lose, you were born to win. You're a winner.
But there are a lot of people right now that are going through this experience in their lives. They don't seem to love themselves anymore. They feel hopelessness. They feel lost. They feel that no one cares about them, and that they're the only one in the world that exists. I'm here to let you know right now, you have to turn it back up again. You got to get into a position where you start to realize that if you don't love yourself, then no one will love you. And you have to stop depending on chasing people to love you. How can you receive love if you don't give yourself enough love within yourself? How can you understand what it means to love if you don't love yourself within? I get it.
Doesn't bother me anymore. I've gotten used to it now. So what is the worst thing that can happen? I want you to visualize that, experience that, feel the nervousness and the discomfort. And the more you run it in your mind, the less power that it will have.
If you think about what makes up who we are. So obviously there's genetics. There's our genetic makeup, so our predisposition, our propensities. And that makes up a percentage of how we see the world and how we show up. But then the rest of it, we're trained on. So we're trained to see the world a certain way. So there are certain people that have something called a negativity bias. And a negativity bias is nothing more than they see the negative first. It's not that they don't see the positive, but they see the negative first. There's other people who see positive first. They have a positivity bias and they see that first. And the truth is, in almost every situation, in every circumstance, there's both.
To understand that there's something that has to be done, don't run for stats, don't run for glory, run because you know it's necessary, but understand that endurance is required. Don't let dead weight slow you down, because dead weight is exactly that it's dead, it has no life, but you have life. And you must continue to push and run as fast as you can. And if you feel that you're getting a little tired, if you feel that you don't have enough left in you, I suggest you push that next button. I suggest you go into that second and third gear